You're on.
So tonight, did she tell me to stop now?
No, she said you're on.
Oh, tonight we have the pleasure of having Haley Whitaker with us. Haley started with doTERRA in January of 2014, correct, Haley? I got that out of the back office. It better be right.
That's correct.
Haley is platinum now. She's like, I'm just so close to diamond. It's like not even funny. I keep waiting. I keep watching every month, and she's gonna do it this month. She's gonna do it, and so she's gonna do it very, very, very soon. We had the pleasure of meeting Haley 2 years ago at convention, and Haley and her mom were at convention, and I think there was a little bit of unbelief there at that time, and we chatted quite a bit, and we've seen Haley and her whole team do some amazing things in the last 2 years. So I don't think there's any more unbelief, and I think she'll tell us about that a little bit tonight. So with that, here's Haley.
All right. Yes, thank you. All very true. That first convention was mind-blowing to me. And, you know, I got into doTERRA very much a skeptic. I didn't believe in oils. I didn't believe in anything natural. My sister Lacey is actually the one who introduced it to me, and she's a nurse. And I thought she was crazy. And I had a horrible summer head cold in July of 2013. And she gave me a bottle of On Guard, and she said, you know, this might make you feel better, Haley. And, you know, she's my little sister. So what do little sisters really know, right? And, but I was so desperate that I tried it, and I was amazed that it worked. And so, like, I'm really science-minded, and I have to get the science behind the oils for me to really embrace them and to fall in love with them. And so, I was slow. So, yes, I started using oils in July of 2013, and then I kept just ordering with Lacey those 6 months. And she finally said to me in January, she said, you know, Haley, you really just need to get your own wholesale account, because I'm earning all this free product off of you. And like, my sister Lacey is not in the business side of it. She's extremely shy. The fact that she even said to me, you need to get your own wholesale account, was her putting herself totally out there. She wasn't doing it to make any money off of me. I think she was just tired of how much I was trying to order through her account. And she was feeling really guilty that she was earning all of those LRP points off of me. So in January, I set up my own, got my own account and did my LRP. Well, if you know me, I'm like a sucker for free stuff. So I knew that the way I was going to build my oil supply was through the product of the month. And my budget was very tight at that time. And I felt like it was really, I didn't have an extra $125 every month that I thought I could spend on doTERRA. I didn't get the redirecting your budget, you know, and buying things that I was already buying. So I'm like, how am I going to get this $125 every month so I can get my free oil? So that's when I started sharing it. And I took it to my close friends and my family. I think Natalie's on here somewhere. Natalie was my coworker. I was prior to doing doTERRA, I was a State Farm, worked for a State Farm agent in sales and customer service. So that's kind of my background. And Natalie and I were partners in crime in that. And I took my doTERRA product guide to her, and I'm like, I just signed up for doTERRA. Is there anything you want off of this catalog? So I'll just add it to my order. So like, you know, if Natalie ordered an oil and my mom ordered an oil and just a few people, I hit that 125 and I get the LRP points, plus I get the free product. That is really why I started my business with doTERRA. So I started sharing it, and I fell in love. I mean, I'd already fallen in love with the oils by the time I had signed up for it. So by the time I was just casually sharing, I think I put 1 or 2 posts on Facebook just to get people to order with me so I could get my 125. And so I signed up in January. I think by my February order was like 500. I hit manager, and Jennifer Cancino, see you're on, Jennifer, sends me a message. I didn't know Jennifer at all. She grew up just north of me, but she lives in Tennessee now, obviously. But she sent me a message, and she says, hey, congrats on hitting manager. And I was like, hey, thanks. I don't know what that means, but thanks, you know. And then so then Ruth Brodsky is actually who signed my sister Lacey up, and Ruth had contacted me, and she says, we really need to get your group of Oilers together, Haley, that are ordering with you, so we can do a class, so we can teach them the right ways, and we make sure we teach people the safety aspect of us using essential oils. So I'll come down and do a class for you. And my group of people that are ordering me, like, that'd be great. So everybody comes to my house and we do a class, and at the end of the class, everybody signed up. And I was just like, well, that's good, but who's going to order with me to get my 125? Because I had no faith in network marketing, and I didn't believe that most of these companies, people sign up and they're done ordering. If they sign up in March, they're done ordering by June. And to backtrack a little bit, before Ruth had come down to do my class, I actually went to Jennifer's Diamond Club class. She was doing Diamond Club, and she was in Atkinson. And that, I remember her standing up there, and I remember her saying to the group, I'm a wellness advocate, and this is what I do. And if anybody would like to do what I do, you can do this too. And like, that resonated with me. Like, I had no interest in doing this as a business, but that did resonate with me. And it like planted that seed in my heart that I want to do what Jennifer Cancino does. I don't know who this girl is, but I want her job because she made it look so fun. So Ruth comes, does my class. We get those people signed up. That was March of 2014 was when my first enrollments were. It was fast and furious from there. I hit silver in June. And Jennifer tells me, this Jennifer girl, I mean, I tell you what, she just tells me what to do and I do it. She says, you're going to convention, Haley. And I said, I can't take time off work to go to convention. At the time, I was happily married with 3 beautiful daughters. I had limited vacation time. I couldn't take 3 or 4 days off of my vacation time to go to convention. And she goes, well, you're silver and you have to walk the stage. You're going to convention. And I said, fine, if you can find a ticket, because they were sold out at that time. And I said, if you can find a ticket, then you can, and find one for my mom. You have to find one for both of us. I'll go, because I don't do anything without my mom. And so Jennifer has her ways. She got us tickets. She says, I've got a hotel room. You can stay with me. So we went out there, and yeah, absolutely mind-blowingly, my eyes were like, wow. And I remember calling back home, and I'm like, I'm quitting my job. Like, this is what I'm going to do full time. And at the time, my paycheck with doTERRA was probably, I think my highest paycheck was when I was at convention, was like $500 that month. Come home from convention, I'm just excited, did like 2 events. I mean, just busted, like just went crazy doing classes because I loved it. Not because I was making much money, but because I just loved sharing doTERRA, and I loved the classes, and I loved all of it. And then that November, I hit gold. And my boss, I'd worked for her for 12 years. She came to me, and she's a good friend, and she says, Haley, I can tell that this is a passion for you and that this is something that you really want to do. And she said, I'm going to give you a year to try to make it full-time or try to make it with doTERRA. And if you can't make it, you can have your job back, which is a lot because I live in a town of 200 people. The town I worked in is 3,000 people. It's a 23-mile commute. Jobs like I had weren't just anywhere. Like I had like the best, one of the higher paying jobs in O'Neill as far as like, sales, customer service type jobs. I didn't work on Wednesday, so I had a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday job. There was no job that I was ever going to be able to find that was going to fit what I had at State Farm. But I knew that my heart wasn't in it, and my boss knew my heart wasn't in it either. And so she offered that to me. So I left my full-time job when I was making $750 a month with doTERRA, which was a fraction of what I was making with my full-time job, on a leap of faith, and quit. And that December, my 1,500 Power of 3 bonus came into place, and things just kind of fell into place. And, the other bonuses, I don't know, my income ended up, my November income went for $750 is what I made in November, and I made $3,000 in December. I'm like, well, that's a fluke. I'm never going to make that kind of money again. And so then I left State Farm, and in January, then I decided, okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it. And so I booked 20 classes in January, and then did Diamond Club February through May, and did 20 classes in February. And I have never made less than the $3,000 that I thought December was a fluke, and like it wasn't, and that was exciting for me. So with Diamond Club, I hit platinum that March, and things were just, I mean, like just going crazy. You know, it was fun. And then in May, I was so lucky because doTERRA came to Nebraska. Corporate focused on Nebraska for growth. And out of the blue, I get a phone call from Kendall Guthrie. He said, because I'd hit platinum, I only hit platinum in March, and then I went back down to gold. But because I'd hit platinum once, I was recognized as known as a platinum. And there was only one diamond and 2 other platinums in the state of Nebraska at that time. So we got to be part of the group that got to put Lincoln's events together. And part of like being a part of that group was we actually got one-on-one time with the corporate executives. So Kendall Guthrie and Rich Higbee came, and I got to sit down with them, and I got to go through my entire business with them. I sat down and I filled out my team, and I went through who my leaders were. I went through what I was doing on my team, and I'll never forget Rich looking at me, and he's like, Haley, he's like, you know, you got a really good team here, but you're missing something. He's like, you're taking care of your team as a manager. You're not creating leaders out of your team. Because I came from a customer service background, I thought I had to do everything to keep everybody happy. And he says, you are going to burn yourself out. He goes, you've got to get a system in place so that you can have leaders. So they should be taking care of their own teams. So I took his advice, his and Kendall's advice, and went back, and I had no management experience. I had no job experience that required me to have any leadership experience. I loved my job at State Farm, but my boss was a micromanager. If there was a job, she gave me a task to do it. I had no responsibilities to like oversee a group of people. So I think a lot of you guys can relate to all of a sudden you're a manager and you have to lead this team of people, and you know, even the people that are coming on with you, they look at you as a leader, but they may be joining at the same time. You know, my very first people that joined with me, you know, still look to me as their leader. So I came home and I set up this program called Sprint to Silver. And it was a tracker that I made up, and I gave weekly prizes to my team, whoever had the most points. They got points by hosting classes, teaching classes, sharing samples, following up. They had to watch a lot of training videos to get their points. And I had like about $100 prize each week for them, an oil prize of some sort. And then whoever had the most points got that prize. And then I had a big prize. It was a 3-month program, and it started in July, and then it was supposed to run through the end of September. And so my team has always been motivated by free stuff. And so if I put something free out there and tell them to do something, I mean, I've been blessed with this team that does it. I mean, Maggie is really excited because we're doing another little challenge right now, and she's all about the free stuff. And I'm lucky because that's really motivated my team really, really well. So out of that program, the Sprint to Silver, some of my best leaders came out of that program. Like they emerged and they took ownership of their teams, and it did exactly what it was supposed to do. So then it's convention time. We head into September, go to convention. I'm on track for Diamond. Like it was going to be Diamond by December. Like that was my goal. And dang it, I always think I'm not going to cry. 2 weeks after convention, sorry, no, a lot of you guys don't like criers.
Don't apologize. We love you. It's totally fine.
My husband came to me and said he no longer wanted to be married, no longer saw a future with me. My world shattered. I was building this business for us. And if you would ask my why back then, It was to buy cattle and land. You know, my why was to do that because that was his why. That's what he wanted. And so I was totally blindsided. I mean, like, it came from nowhere. I went through time for about 2 months where I couldn't even open my laptop to lead my team. I had 2 weeks left of Sprint to Silver, and I covered it up pretty good because I came on and I told them, I was like, you know what, guys, these last 2 weeks you're on your own because I've got you this far. I want to see what you're going to do without me telling you every step of the way. So they finished out the program themselves without me posting, like, you know, like the daily stuff that I was posting. The hardest part was I couldn't tell my team what was going on because I was hoping that my marriage was salvageable. And I knew the more people that knew about it would make it harder for us to ever get through it. So the only people on my team that knew were my mom and Natalie. And I mean, my mom, I remember saying, Haley, you got to get back out there. Because I had a Facebook education page that I did educating for my team. She's like, Haley, your team needs to see you. I mean, doing classes was off the limit. I mean, I couldn't even think about doing classes. I think I had 2 booked that I had to finish out. And I mean, wow, that was tough. But I kept pushing through it. And the coolest thing about doTERRA is I got paid every single month that I didn't even open my laptop, that I didn't teach classes, that I didn't. I mean, like, it's so amazing what this opportunity is when you really look at it, what opportunity you have. I mean, if I was at my full-time job, I couldn't have went to work for 2 months. I mean, I was absolutely in shock. So, as time went on, I was able to share with my leaders what was going on. My marriage was over, and 2016 was rough. It was rough. Just a lot of transitions. A lot of decisions had to be made where I was going to live. The adjustment for my kids, because they were blindsided by everything too. And I really credited having that system in place. And it was at that time called Sprint to Silver, but I've since changed my group to Launch. And Mark asked me to talk about my launch page, is what he asked me to talk about. But really, if you don't know the history of why that launch page came to be and how important that group became to holding my business together, while I am like pushing for diamond and I want to hit diamond, I had to realize in 2016 I need to pay my bills, and I can pay my bills on a platinum salary very comfortably. So my goal for 2016 was just to hold it together and hold my platinum and just make it just regroup where I'm at, where's that. So we have made it through 2016, and my divorce was finalized in December, so I felt like January was just a fresh start, and I'm excited for 2017. I mean, I just, for the first time in a year, feel like it's, anything is possible. And so I've run a couple other leadership trainings through. I did one more Sprint to Silver the spring of 2016, and then last year I changed my group to Launch because not everybody's trying to hit silver, and I had some people that were already silver trying to hit gold, but I also had some people that were just trying to go from elite to premier. So I wanted to take it off of Sprint to Silver and just be Launch, like launch your business to whichever level you're wanting. And I really did dig into the share success and shared a lot of those videos with my team on some of the I don't really follow that program to the T, but some of the basics of when you have a new builder, get a list of 100 and things like that. So then this spring, what we decided to do is really focus on, we have so many new people that are wanting to build. And like, I know there are people out there that can go from, their first just enrolling one day and hitting, silver quickly, or, but some people aren't ready for that big of a jump. So I really wanted to focus on our elites and trying to get more elites on our team, because obviously that is the basis, our whole business is based on elites. And so we have a program called Elevate to Elite, and I'm so excited about that one, because the best part about that is the leaders that came out of my initial sprint to silver are basically running the Elevate to Elite. I get to pop on and check in with them and give my 2 cents, but my leaders are responsible for their own team members. Like, I offer the prizes. So Maggie's excited because she's doing the competition. And so I have 4 prizes this month. One is the touch kit, one is the motion touch kit, one is the LLV, and one is a bottle of Melissa. And the winner of each week, like week 1, gets their pick of those 4. So there's a little bit of urgency, like to just push hard right away so that they get whatever prize they're going for. And it's been really fun. And all we're doing on this group for trying to focus on our elites for this month is to get them sharing oils. So all that they have to do is share oils, track it, sample their oils, and then follow up. And that's all they get points for. So there's Maggie's tracker, how many samples she's given out this week. And looking good, Maggie. And so that's the program we're doing now. I mean, I'll probably down the road do another launch or sprint to silver, but I really just want to focus on this month's focus with these elites, trying to get them sampling. And then next month, probably extend the program into getting them to teaching and hosting classes. And they get, if they host a class or teach a class, they get to count all those people that are the classes for samples. So, I mean, they're still getting benefits if they're doing classes, but we might make it a little bit more focused on classes next month. So, did that answer what you were, is that kind of what you wanted me to talk about tonight?
That was great. That was awesome.
Okay.
Is there something else you wanted to?
No, we just like to have you guys come on and do you. So that was perfect.
And thanks for doing you, Haley.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
Sorry about the tears. I said I'm not going to cry tonight. I'm not going to cry.
You know what? The good part about that is that shows, you had a lot of bumps, and really, really, really tough bumps that
was a freaking crater.
Yeah. A lot of people have bumps, and it was, it's nothing compared to what you had to go through. And so, and a lot of times those bumps become excuses, but, and you came out still on top through all of it. And you did. And the great thing is that you learned to be a leader. You weren't, you admitted that, and Rich pointed that out to you. You weren't a leader, but you became a leader, so much so that your team was able to carry themselves and keep you going as well, even though that you weren't there to fully support everything.
Yeah. I am huge, on faith and God's timing and everything. And his timing through all of this, that he said, he knew where my future was headed. And I thank God every day for doTERRA, because I couldn't make it as a single mom on the income. I had a good job before, but a single mom, I don't get child support. I'm on my own, and I know I can do it on my own with my doTERRA income. And the empowerment that I have from that is like, and it's not, I could have probably made it on my other salary, but it always would have been tight. Money would have been tight. And now it's like, I don't have to worry. I can take my kids on vacation. I don't have to know that I'm not going to be able to do a vacation this year because we can't afford it. Or, my daughter wants, a new pair of jeans. I know I'm in a place where I can do that. And that's, I don't know, that gives me a lot of, I feel. Well,
the great thing is that if I mean, in your other situation, in your other job, you were pretty much stuck there. And if something comes up where you want a better vacation or more for your kids or a nicer house or even just money to help someone else, you have the ability with doTERRA to work harder and make that happen. So that's the awesome thing with doTERRA.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, when I had so many life changes happen, I mean, I didn't know if I was going to stay in the town that I am. You know, my family is 80 miles from here. The cool thing about doTERRA is it doesn't matter. I mean, I decided to stay here because I didn't want to uproot my kids, but I could have, you know, and I didn't have to go job hunting. My job was going to go where I went. And I mean, that was a huge relief as well. And you know what? I get to be 100% mom. I can schedule everything around my kids and around my parenting plan. And Kyle, my ex-husband, he is a rodeo cowboy, and he's gone a lot. Like his schedule, he was gone the entire month of February. And so it's so nice that I have a job that when he's gone for an entire month, I can still get my kids to school and pick them up from school. And like, I can't even imagine. I cannot imagine what my life would be like with my current situation if I was at my other job, you know. And I can't explain why I decided to build a doTERRA business. Maybe that crazy Jennifer Cancino entering my life when she did was not a coincidence. I mean, her personality is what I needed to get me to do what I did. And I mean, that was God bringing us together and him putting her in my life. So I had somebody to chase after. And I mean, she's been awesome and helped me tremendously. And there's so many things I can look back at over the last, you know, really the last 3 years. And I can't explain why I went so hard doing classes when I was making $20 a week. You know, those fast start bonuses, those first ones, like but there was, I just believe that it was put in my heart to do it. And I didn't know why. And now I can look back and I know that was just the road, you know, the journey God had me on. And so, it's awesome. But a couple of things I'm still doing with my, one of the cool things it's taken me, I think I have a hard time because I love teaching classes. Like I love that part of it. I still struggle with the leadership part. Like I just want to be out teaching classes. I struggle sitting behind my computer running a program like Launch or, you know, Elevate to Lead or whatever. I just want to be teaching classes. So I struggle going back and forth with how do you build your own, like, you know, where you need to build to rank advance versus supporting your team. And I think that's kind of like a juggling thing that I don't know that anybody maybe ever figures that part out. I don't know. But I am learning that, you know, there are business builders. There is people that want the business, and then you have just the customers, and trying to educate the two separately. So my group Launch, I try to educate my business stuff. And then I do have an oil page for my customers. And one thing they said at leadership was, how did they say it? Your customers don't care if they're part of a team or not. They want to be part of a community. And I think that's the difference when you're talking to your builders. They want to be part of a team and know that you're going, you know, you're moving in the same direction and as a unified front. But your customers, they just want to know that they're being loved on and taken care of and educated in a community. So I do have a community group that I do a lot of educating, and I do daily posts on education, and then every Thursday I do a live Q&A in that group, so anybody that has questions can jump on in there and ask me questions. And then I do a Sunday night Facebook class where I just do pure education on a certain topic. And then the last Thursday of the month, I have a group that I do a oil basics class, so my leaders can add their people to that basics class. And we do a live class that way. So Facebook Live has been like awesome. Like I was this person who hated videos, and I think there were some challenges like that you did, Romy, and that Burke and Natalie did, where you'd have to post a video like for different challenges. And I hated those. Like I would sit there with my phone or my computer or whatever, and I would like do them and I record them. I'm like, I'm not posting that. And then comes Facebook Live, and I'm like a Facebook Live monster now. Like, you know, I think because people know it doesn't have to be perfect. Like when it's a recorded video, you think, oh, it's got to be perfect. But when it's live, they expect imperfections. So I love Facebook Live, and I hope everybody in the group is loving and taking advantage of the platform Facebook Live. It's awesome.
Yeah, and you do an amazing job at your Facebook Lives. I've popped in and I've seen some of the recordings, and really what I've seen with the people that are taking advantage of the Facebook Live is that authenticity really draws people in. And it's like you say, I don't know, I watched a Facebook Live from with a girl the other day, first time ever, very, very new to doTERRA and how all of this works, like very new. And she was very authentic, and like you say, with the videos, you know, people kind of expect perfection, but I loved her authenticity. I loved it. I mean, I was like glued to the screen just watching, and it really helped me to be able to see someone so young in what was happening, to just get out there and be fearless in what she was doing. I mean, we all get to learn from each other in that way, and you just step out, and the more you do it, the better it is. And I really think that it's an amazing tool to draw the people in, to be able to help you communicate and just really have that community like you're talking about.
Yep. And my kids usually end up bombarding my video at some point in time, but I think it shows my leaders, they all tell me anyways, that I am duplicatable, because it's not perfect. You know, my kids, very few people can do a video when they don't have their kids, that, you know, so my kids jump on, and usually people are usually entertained by whatever they happen to do when they jump on. So
Right. And what you were talking about before with to me, when you were talking about your story and having that financial freedom and that time freedom to really take care of you, I mean, I think that really brings to the forefront how awesome doTERRA is in situations like that. And granted, we have men that are building businesses in doTERRA by themselves with their wives, and we welcome that and encourage that, and, you know, come on. However, when it comes to women and trying to figure out how to be able to really do what we want to do, it gives us the freedom to be able to just do it and not worry about what somebody else is going to tell us what to do or say. And I could go into some stuff that might be a little bit more in your face. However, I think it's a great opportunity for women to really, really feel that power just individually. It has nothing to do with separating men from women and all of that. It really just helps us to feel the power within ourselves, to really lift us up and be able to help us to see that we can do anything. And I think that this business model is what's helping us do that, along with an amazing product.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful that you have this, and it was there for you to be able to work through what you needed to do.
Yep. It's been a blessing.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions for Haley tonight? I mean, she's got a lot of stuff going. She's got a lot of Facebook savvy and does a lot of stuff on Facebook. If you have any questions of how to do something, or how she does it, or should you do it or not, or whatever you want, we got her. Let's use her.
Haley, I have a question. This is Joni.
Yes.
So I do something kind of similar. It sounds like I use some of the videos from like Share Success with their launch section. How do you, like, what does that look like for you? You know how you said you pulled your leaders in to kind of leading this other group that you have? What does that look like, and how is it different? I don't. Can you talk a
I
little
set
more specifically about that? I don't know.
Sure. I set up 2 separate Facebook groups, and sometimes I feel like I have so many Facebook groups, but it's just like easier just to keep them separate. So I set up one group that's my Elevate to Elite, and I started putting it out there to anybody in my education group, and I said, if you feel like you want to share doTERRA with anybody, we've got a program that I'd love to add you to. And I really stress, because I don't want, so many people are so afraid they're not going to succeed at building a doTERRA business that they don't want to admit that they will do a business, but they will admit that they will share oils with people. So the idea was just to get people to share, or just to get them to think about, the possibility of sharing doTERRA with others. And so that's kind of where I started planting the seed. And then my leaders that I work with in my launch group, I'd kind of start talking to them about, like getting their frontline leaders involved in it. And so I set up then a coaches group, Elevate to Elite coaches group. So I've got like 8 different people in there, like 8 of my leaders. And it was really fun, because what we did was we kind of brainstormed, and we picked out the different topics that we wanted these brand new people to know how to use. And so each of the 8 people did their own video, maybe 15 to 20 minutes on a certain topic. So we did, one was, your why. One was living doTERRA's lifestyle. One we did sampling. We actually had 2 sampling videos in there just by my different leaders. We did a follow-up, how to do effective follow-up. And, it was fun, because the people that are in the Elevate to Elite group are very connected to their leader that's in there. And so it's fun for them to see their leader doing the videos. And as far as the share success videos, I haven't shared any of that in my Elevate to Elite group. It's all been videos that my leaders have done, basically, just in their own words, how they would sample somebody or how they would follow up. Does that answer your question? I think you're muted.
Sorry about that. So is it like a scheduled time, like a Zoom, or do they just hop on live and do their piece whenever they are ready? Or how is it?
It was Facebook. We did Facebook Live videos, and we scheduled them out, so it was one a day for like a week. And then these groups that I have, my leaders are amazing. So Karina that was on earlier, I don't even remember what it was, but she could see that there was a need. Somebody asked a question, so she messaged me. She's like, Haley, do you mind if I address that in a live video? I'm like, go for it. So, if there's a need. And then I was just actually talking to my coaches that we need to do like another round of like just videos of different topics about building doTERRA businesses. And we just try to keep it so simple that anybody, feels like they can be a part of it and do it.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. I'm excited to kind of brainstorm with my team, because I feel like so many of them are doing their own thing, but we're all separate, and I want to pull us all in together. I don't know. I've been, I think, for the last few months trying to figure out how to pull us all in together, because as we're growing, I feel like I see it happening, that we're all kind of separating and doing like off into our little like separate cells. I don't know if that makes sense. And I don't think that's necessarily bad, because it's, launching leaders, which is awesome. But I really love how you have been able to pull everybody in together and still like just have that community of, your leaders, and then they're pulling in their new leaders. So anyway, thanks so much for sharing. That answers my question. Thanks. Excited.
We do Wednesday night Zooms with the coach. Usually it's the coaches and just some of our, it doesn't have to be the coaches, because just anybody in my launch group. So, but it tends to be the coaches and Maggie. She's always joining them. But that's a chance where we kind of brainstorm too as a group. And I am so lucky, because I have the most like my leaders all crossline support each other. Like they are becoming great friends through these groups, and like they have each other's backs. And I mean, I am so lucky with the team that I have. I mean, I love them all. And so we do, like I said, we do the Wednesday night Zooms. But I had another thought on that. I can't think of what it was. Oh, I do encourage each of my leaders that have their own, you know, each of the coaches to do their own little incentive within the group. So like maybe, you know, I'm giving the weekly prize, but maybe for the top tracker. So the way that they're going to turn their trackers in is the team is everybody's going to just send, take a picture of the tracker and Facebook message it to their coach. So I'm not going to get like, you know, 30 trackers. I'm going to get 8 trackers because each coach is just going to send me their top tracker for me to look at. And then that will be the prize then that person, I'll announce that who wins, and then they'll pick their prize. But I know a lot of the coaches are doing their own little incentives within that. So maybe I know like Karina's doing something where if you turn in a tracker all 4 weeks, she's giving a separate prize and things like that. So it's kind of fun to see them take ownership and do their own incentives within. So that's been fun.
Hi,
I
Haley.
like that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Romy.
I just was going to say, I like that coaches aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds cool.
Okay, Haley, Iris here. And I still don't have any builders coming up to speak of. There are some that are talking about it, but not yet active. But I want to get my public Facebook page going. And what do you think of having other cross lines just do a short Facebook Live for my page, the two of us together, or somehow just to talk about one thing, keeping it simple like you're talking about. Would that kind of be like the coaches are doing?
Yep.
And do you think that there's something worthwhile in that?
I do, because I mean, the group that I have, my team of coaches, they're all so different, and they all bring a different personality and a different leadership style to the table. And it's really fun because, you know, I think within the Elevate to Elite group, I think we've got like 100 and some people in the group. I know not everybody's going to be doing trackers. Some are just following along just to the education part that comes along, because maybe they're not ready to actually do a competition right now. So they're just following along. But of those 100 and some people that are watching the videos, they are you know, it's not just my leadership style doesn't fit everybody.
Right.
So when they get to see, you know, Natalie's leadership style and Valerie's leadership style and Karina's leadership style, it just, you know, maybe they're drawn to somebody like Valerie and be like, well, gosh, I'm a lot like Valerie, and if Valerie can do this business, I can do this business. So I think the crossline has been really good. When we did the it was only 6 videos I think we did. I did a giveaway with each of those videos. So I said, like Natalie did a video and she gave away like a bottle of Peace or something. And then people had to comment on her video to be eligible to win the Peace. And then the person who did the video after that would announce the winner of that last video. And so we had kind of a ongoing giveaways within that little group too. Like I said, my team has always responded to free stuff.
I think everybody does. Thank you. That's great. I'm going to use that.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Haley?
I'll make a comment real quick that Haley's now branding her stuff. And I think that's awesome because like Keely, let's say, or some of the other higher ups that you watch, they always have their stuff branded. Every photo they share, every piece of information is branded, and Haley's finally doing that. And I think it says a lot just about her attitude, you know, not only that she's a rock star, you know, and that she's putting herself out there, but she's also making sure people know her. Just a thought.
Yeah,
Thanks, Maggie.
Branding is good.
that's a great point. Branding is definitely very, very important. And you don't have to be have an elevated leadership role to start branding yourself. Branding yourself from the beginning is really good, and it also helps to build your confidence and really help you to pay attention and think on purpose. Who am I, and what do I want people to see and know about me? And so there's a lot of different aspects to branding, and so I think that's a very good point. Thanks, Maggie. Anybody else?
Should we do a giveaway? Kenzie,
Heck yeah, I got it.
what do we got tonight?
A marjoram.
Marjoram,
Cool.
all right.
Who can tell us what marjoram's used for?
Come on.
Nobody.
I use it for pain.
Somebody else? You have to unmute yourself. Who else has got one? Tanya Breeds, I think you said something.
I said pain.
Oh, okay.
So I use marjoram with wintergreen, and I also use it for pain, but I want to see if I can find the description. I just, if you guys know who Amber Croft is, she is amazing when it comes to using oils and your emotions. And so I was conversing with her the other day, and she told me to use marjoram because marjoram is magical when it comes to emotions. And so for emotions addressed, it's masking, conflicted, frustrated, indecisive, insecure, taken for granted. So I really started to, I love really delving into what the emotional aspect is when it comes to oils. And I mean, we talk more and more and more about it. And so that is something that's become more interesting for me. And she told me to use marjoram, and I was like, ew, I don't like the smell of marjoram. But believe it or not, when I smelled it, it had some tones in there that I liked the smell of. It still pretty much is ew, but it's got some okay scents to it as well. So if you're not familiar with using the oils and adding some of the emotional benefits to it, I highly encourage you to do some research with that. So, okay, carry on, Kenzie.
Okay, the winner is Natalie Owen.
Woohoo!
All right, Natalie.
Hey, Natalie, you have to show your face, though. Yay!
Do a happy dance. Happy dance. Well, Haley, we really, really, really appreciate you doing this for us tonight and opening up for us. And, you know, we love you and wish you all the best. And I know that Diamond is just around the corner, and you'll be walking at convention this year, I'm sure. So we just really want to thank you, and we really appreciate it.
Yeah, we love you, and we think you're awesome.
And just so you know that Cancino is kind of sneaky with everybody. She just didn't sneak up on you. She's kind of that way with everybody. So. But thanks everybody for coming tonight and joining us. And we love you all. And we can't wait to see you next week.
Next week is Dana. But before I forget, if you are in.
Wait a minute. We're going to be at leadership next week.
We are. Yes, we are.
Uh-oh.
We'll figure it out. We'll get somebody to host with you, Dana. It'll be a surprise.
Do we have any volunteers for next week? Anybody want to speak?
Who wants to host with Dana? You get to do the introduction. Kenzie always runs the show, just so you know. So all you got to do is show up and say, woohoo, we have Dana Fisher. So
it's so exciting.
Jeff said he will.
Yep. All right. Jeff and Christy will be our hosts for next week. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Fabulous. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So before I was so rudely interrupted.
I had to tell you, honey. I had to tell you before you made a mistake. I had to stop you.
You can stop the recording quick.